So Frank, certainly an entertaining second 45 minutes. Do you think you deserve more out of that today?
No, because of the first 45 minutes. We understood exactly how Forest would come here. We've got results recently with very solid five at the back, good counter-attacking teams. You have to be very wary of that. But when we have that much control of the ball in the first half, we need to do a lot more with it. So we can only look at ourselves and say, the things we spoke about before the game we didn't do in the first half at the top end of the pitch. Too much sideways passing, too much slow, not enough risk at the top end of the pitch. Maybe some of that is because players are not maybe at the performance levels they want to be at, so it's safe. But obviously we're Chelsea and we have to be more dynamic at the end of the pitch, more clinical, like Raheem was in the second half. So that means that you don't get a win when I think the game was there for us to win.
You mentioned Raheem's goals. Did you feel he grew in confidence with those goals as the game went on today?
Yeah, sure, and you do. And I'm pleased for him individually because a winger to score from the penalty spot on a cutback is a good thing, good positioning. And then the second goal was just obviously individual talent of Raheem. And he's shown he can do it over many years. If it's been a difficult year for him at the club, it's probably been a difficult year for a lot of people. We all know that. So I think we know that he has the credit of what he's done in his career. And we need that from players at the top end of the pitch. I was pleased for him personally, and hopefully it helps his confidence in his last few games.
Ruben involved in that second goal. What did he give you when he came off the bench?
Yeah, he did a lot. I like Ruben. I thought he drove with the ball. He gives you that nice physicality, but a bit of finesse that he has with his feet. I've been wanting to get Ruben more minutes, to be honest, but it's not always easy in that part of the pitch where Connor's been doing well and Golo we know, Enzo there, so it's not always easy to find in those positions for him. But I was pleased with what he did.
I wanted to ask you about the fullbacks as well. Lewis on the left, Trevor on the right. Both gave you something going forward today, didn't they?
Trevor was really good. Trevor's been, his enthusiasm to play when you're asking fullbacks to step in and overlap and underlap and be really proactive. He was spot on, and I think for Lewis, he's not played so many games. First game playing for me, and I thought he did well. There's things he can improve. I think he'll understand that, and there were some moments in the game where I think you could see that. But at the same time, he's a very good player. He needs to come out of himself more. He's a quiet lad. He needs to trust in his ability, but have confidence and understand some things that he'll need to really progress. But pleased with the way he played generally.
Another injury, unfortunately. Is it too early to say how bad Kovacic was?
Yeah, I don't know. I know he had a bit of an issue going into the game. Obviously, that was clear yesterday in training, and I spoke to him before. We were to see how it went, and I haven't followed it up since the game, to be honest. So we hope he's okay, obviously, but our midfield numbers are going down. But we keep going.
With that in mind, Frank, finally 3 big games to go in the running. What's the message going into those last matches this year?
Well, the players keep getting asked about, it's a level of games, it's 3 of the top 4, and that's, for me, it's very relevant when the games come, but it's irrelevant in terms of how we approach it. It's the pride of playing for the club and the urgency of playing for the club. It's easy to go into a game. First half I felt today was just like 60-70%. We need more than that, and I don't like that. That's what we need to improve. But yeah, we have to push through the week, be ready for what is a really busy week, and try and give our fans, the idea of the second half is like a game you want to watch. You want to watch people underlapping. You want to watch speed in the game. And the first half is too safe, and that stuff has to change. And it's a process, to be fair, at least. It needs work and time, but the players are the first ones that need to understand that.
What's the thinking behind starting Edouard Mendy for the first time in quite a while?
Well, we've got 2 good goalkeepers. Eddie's been training well. Kepa's been playing really well. But in this situation we're in, to give Edu a game today was no problem. It's not for me saying one level's here, one level's there. It's just a goalkeeper that we trust, so he started.
Frank, it felt. I know the first goal was from a quick cross. The second was a long throw. It felt the team was struggling a little bit with set pieces and dead balls. Although clearly Forest used that, but would you agree with that?
Yeah, if the long loopy throw is a difficult one to defend against. I've seen them, we've watched them, they've scored goals recently in games where it's been important for them, and when it's coming and they're a bigger team than us, which is just a natural thing, then it was always, the threat of set pieces, counter-attacks, probably direct play were the biggest threats today. The players understood that, but you have to deal with it.
Tom. Frank, I know this kind of situation that the club's in is quite rare, but for someone like Raheem to score a couple of goals today, how important is that ahead of next season?
Yeah, important. Small gains, small steps forward. Raheem's a player that has the credit in the bank as such that he's been a regular goal scorer in the Premier League and for his country. And to see him score there was Raheem, arriving for a cross and then individual brilliance to score the goal. So yeah, I'm very happy for him, and it's what we need across the top end of the pitch. Raheem, as I say, has done it and he produced it again. But if you're going to win games when you have 76% possession, you need to be killers at the top end of the pitch. And Raheem's proven to be that. At the moment, we don't have enough of that.
Davide.
Hi Frank, what do we want to see in this final few games from your team?
Good play, some results, compete, show pride. The things you want to see all the time. It doesn't matter the opposition. For me, it doesn't matter the situation. And that starts now for Man City. That has to go through the week. And that's what I want to see.
Neil.
Normal, Sterling, Aubameyang, Bettinelli, Zakaria, Chukwuemeka, any of them unfit?
Sterling?
Sorry, Kante.
Kante's unfit. He hurt his groin in training yesterday. So it's going to be a 2 or 3 week injury. Go through them, Spy, again.
Aubameyang, Bettinelli, Zakaria, Chukwuemeka.
Yeah, Betts is still not fit, and the rest are fit. Sorry, Carney was not well overnight.
Okay.
Yeah.
What pleased you that you took out the week's training that worked today, and what frustrated you?
What pleased me was not so much the week's training, it was more the idea and what the plan is before the game was that we're going to have a lot of ball in their half. So we have to be really dynamic to move their back five. We have to make sure their counter-press positions are good, which they were. To be fair, they didn't have lots of those, and they have a lot of those in certain games. But what displeased me was the first half. We didn't do it with enough urgency to break the back five, safe, sideways, safe. And in the second half, when we underlap, we get a goal. When we show urgency and they're running forward, we get the other goal. So that's it.
Can I just ask you as well, sorry, Chalobah had another good game.
Yeah, really good game. I thought Trevor was fantastic, the way he plays. When you ask him to do things, he does them to a T. He steps in with urgency, he defends well, he's physically great, and I thought he had a really good game, I agree.
Okay, last one in this section, then we're going to do a quick Mondays. Dylan.
Hi Frank, you kind of answered the question there about the first half, but I just wonder if you could focus just on the goal in particular. Forest's, when they took the lead, to the untrained eye, it looked like the Forest guy had 2 defenders around him and the keeper, and he's managed to beat all 3 of them. So I just wondered what you saw there when you saw
that.
And how much does that frustrate you when you see that?
I know. Listen, the defensive goals that you give away when you're not really conceding big chances in the game. It's long throws, the second one, and that one is a game. But they can happen. They can happen. You're disappointed with them, but they can happen because that's not something training affected it. It's like one player scores. You don't spend a week recreating that moment. That can happen. What I'm more disappointed about, as I've just referenced there, is that we lost 45 minutes in the game where we had all the control and we weren't doing exactly the things that we said about before the game. And it's not good to play at 60-70% in the last third. The last third has to be 100%. It has to be, and it has to be repetitive. And that's not something that can change overnight. I've just been asked about what are you doing training all week. It's not the training at this point in the season that's going to change this season or what these games look like. It's the idea, it's sticking with the idea and doing it and doing it and doing it. And in the second half, when we show bits of that in our game, it looked different. It's a game that you want to come and watch, and we're in the game and we're playing like we want the team to play. But you have to have speed in the last third of the game. And at the moment, we're too comfortable getting up there and being slow, and it's not hard enough to defend against. So that is a game for me, as I say, with big possession. We should have more shots, more clinical, more killers, but at the moment that isn't the case. So I think that's a process that will be time, because that's not changing right now. As much as you want to talk about it, it has to be changed by players affecting it and doing it. And today we didn't do that in the first half. We did it better in the second half, and we all saw the result.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Quick Mondays.